By the time I was 21 years old, I had made over £100,000 from dropshipping and having a social media marketing agency. But the reality behind that number is something that you wouldn't think. How can a man have everything he wants in life when he's 21 years old? A nice car, a nice house, a nice lifestyle, a nice salary, and then within 12 hours, gone. Everything is just fucking gone. I didn't start off rich and I didn't have any connections, and I most definitely didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And to tell you the truth, the way I made my first bit of real money is actually the complete opposite to what 95% of the videos on YouTube are telling you to do. You see, it all started when I was 7 years old, when I was absolutely fascinated with money. It was all I could talk about.
Selling Ferraris and Vanquishes, and I'm going to get about 4,000 out of them.
And by the time I was 15 years old, I was making £30 a day selling sweets in school. I mean, who hasn't done that, right? But since an early age, I was just always in love with the fact that I could make money, from selling sweets in school to talking about it when I was a kid, literally 7 years old. By the time I was 16, I left school. I dropped out. I didn't have a single GCSE to my name. And that was because I was pursuing a full-time career in YouTube, which I had been doing all throughout my school years. And it got to the point where the channel grew so big, I was making $2,500 a month by just playing Call of Duty videos. But at the same time, I was getting older and I got my first girlfriend and I got my first car, and I fell out of love with the fact that I have to sit in my bedroom playing the Call of Duty game for 16 hours a day. Like, I got bored of it and I fell out of love with it. So the only alternative was to join in with the rat race and get a 9-to-5 job, which I did, lifeguarding for 2 years, which I loved. But again, that inner feeling since I was 7 years old didn't resemble with me. It wasn't something that I wanted to pursue as a career or work 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. So I left and I went to pick up a camera, a video camera, to start creating promotional videos for brands and companies who needed them. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I've never filmed anything before, but one client agreed to pay me the same amount of money I was making on a weekly basis sitting on a lifeguarding chair for 40 hours a week than it would me spending 2 hours creating him a promotional video. I think that's where my mindset changed, where I was like, well, why am I doing this when I could do this instead? Now, around the same time as that, I got very lucky. I created an e-commerce drop shipping store because I saw it all over my Instagram, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. I got very lucky, found the right product, and it done over £160,000 in revenue within 12 months. At that time, I was still young and I've never seen money like that before. Neither did my parents, and they do well. They do well in life, but they never saw money coming in like that before. Now, during that time frame, I went through the roughest time of my life. My business partner at the time that I was working on for another business completely fucked me over. I lost everything. Like, it actually gets me upset thinking about it now because I have to think back to that stage, but I lost fucking everything. I lost my car, I lost the house that I was living in, I lost my salary. And like within 12 hours, it just all happened at once, and I lost it all. So I had no choice but to have my back up against the wall and just live off my savings for as long as those savings might last me. But that day was probably the biggest lesson I've learned in business, that nobody can teach you. You have to go through those motions to learn the lesson I did that day. From that very day, from that moment, I've just had a fuck you moment towards that person. Every pound that comes into my bank account, every client I sign up, every time I wake up and I achieve something, in the back of my mind I think of him. And it's just like giving myself a little I can do this without you moment, you know, like I've done this without, I never needed you. So as my back was against the wall and I was just living off my savings, I decided to create a marketing agency, because by the time that came around, I knew how to film. I was taking photos for years prior, and I was like, let me just give it a shot. Now, I don't truly know what it was that got me to this stage. It might have been the fuck you moment, or it might have been just because my back was up against the wall. But within 12 months of starting that marketing agency, I was making £100,000 a year in profit, not turnover, profit. Consistently hitting 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,000 pounds months. I very quickly bought my first home with me and my fiance. I bought a nice expensive car, and then shortly after I decided to move here to Dubai to do it all over again. And that's the truth behind my £100,000 by the time I was 21 years old. It wasn't just one big idea. It wasn't me trading or doing crypto. It wasn't me getting lucky. It was something that I was born with from a really young age. It was years of failing and years of trying new things and years of getting punched in the face to turn around and lose it all to get away from that person. And ultimately, that person and what I went through has built me as a character today. So when you see people come online and say, this is how you can make £100,000 a year and this, that, the other, and then in their Instagram bio, they have a course that they're selling, like, I'm literally on a journey with this YouTube channel to teach as many of you exactly what I've done with my marketing agency. Yes, obviously I've gone through a tsunami of shit to get to the place I am, and I'm hoping you guys never have to go through what I did, but I'm just on this mission at the moment to try and teach as many people as I can to leave the rat race 9-to-5 job and start your own marketing agency. Because if it changed my life, it will fucking change yours.